Kia ora, welcome to Edge Learning. In this video we're going to have a look at the end of year procedures. First of all, I'm going into achievement, and if you've got any data on your seniors that you want exported as a group, then you'd need to do that here, either going directly into the area or going to the overall tracking for the data itself, or if you're doing analysis perhaps for the whole school or again for those seniors, then you need to do that before you make the seniors leavers. Otherwise they don't show and it's hard to get that data out again. As for making the students leavers, we go to people and to process leaver. In here you can process students individually as per normal, or you can do the final year students. Set the last day of attendance, reason for leaving, whether that's transferred to another school or end of schooling. You don't need to necessarily fill in all these other pieces, and then it will list down there all your seniors, or you can select a different year group if you need to process a different year group to the one that's showing. And then you can simply select all, perhaps unselect anybody who is staying for some reason, and then update selected to process them all. It's important to do this at the end of the year, so either on the last day of school or just after the last day of school. If you try and leave this till next year, you will have both your current senior students and the leavers from last year. They'll all be mixed together and you'll have to pick which ones to tick. That's why this is a time critical process, so that you do that at the end of the year. Setting the calendar can be done at any time of the year, so that's simply under admin, set up and define school calendar. In here, go next to go to 2024, and you set your start date at the beginning of the year and your end date at the end of the year. The term dates should all be correct, and then if you have any teacher only days that you know of already, you can put them in, or perhaps any regional holidays can be added in by adding a holiday. Any new staff that need to be added in for next year, you can add them in as soon as you like. It's a good idea to add them in a bit early so that they have access before they actually start at school. So that is under people, staff, register staff member. And likewise, any leaving staff, you go to view edit staff, select the staff member, and then down to the current service period area, and you can put in an end date. Right, setting up classes for next year, you can do that under people and memberships and define class. In here you'll flick through from 23 to 24 and go create new class. Give the class a name. So it might be as simple as room 1. You can then set up the teacher for that class. Once it's saved, you can add students to the class. Normally this is easiest by year level, so you might have a year 5 class or a year 5 and year 6 class. And then you can select all and save those students. The date being defaulted to the 1st of January is fine for existing students, but it's not a good idea for pre-enrolls. They are best to start on the 10th of January for both their starting date and for their start date in the class. Starting before school is fine. They're not going to have any attendance until the calendar starts, but you do want them in the class so that the teachers can see them in advance. The next thing on the list is the timetable for secondary schools and for area schools. If you are just using a basic timetable this year, that's just AM and PM, and you're going to use the same next year, then you can come in here to timetable, create edit timetable, choose the year as 2024, and then you can copy over the basic timetable from 2023 over to 2024, and that's all set in there. You can check the setup. I recommend going to this connect option line step and saving that before you continue through. Once that's saved at step 1, then you can go through to step 8 and activate. Obviously this is just for a basic timetable. If you're creating a timetable, you would have to go through all of the steps of the timetable to sort that one out. Once you click on activate, it will activate down through the term, that timetable, and you can do the same thing for each term. So we'd recommend that you do that at the start of the year, even if you are going to change your timetable later on down the track. Next is under reports, custom reports, printing, or templates if you're still using template reports. So under custom report printing, you select the report that you want to print out, and just make sure that all are published. If they're not published, then obviously you need to generate them all room by room and then mark them all complete and moderated and then publish those reports. It's important to at least generate the reports before the end of the year, or the data changes with the rollover. Most of the attendance data you can get out next year, but one thing that's a little bit trickier to do is the summary data, the first one on the list, doing perhaps year to date for the current year. If you like that graph there, then you need to print that out or PDF that at this year before the rollover happens. All the other data, like analysis, you can print out in future years and just backdate the years, but good practice to get the data you want at the end of the year. Likewise with the finance data, it's a good idea to get out any lists that you want this year, such as debtors lists, any deposit lists. The billable items lists in there are very useful to get out. And then of course the next step is that in the processing area you're going to go and write off any of your donations. So anything that counts as a donation is going to be written off at the end of the year, because you can't really carry that debt over from year to year. And the last step is also in the finance area. We recommend that you create new billable items for each year, partly to do with the write-offs. It's a very good idea that each of your items is dated. We recommend putting the year first and then the item. So I'll be setting up a whole set of 2024 items. I hope that's all useful. All the best for the end of the year and the holidays. Ka kite.